morning. Sweatshirt weather here in Florida, as you can see. Welcome to Morning Coffee with Mitch. I'll be waiting for Kelsey over there to finish up. So they just did the drawing, and I guess they are finishing up, but they're still putting up chats. So at any rate, we'll get on with our business here, and I'll keep an eye on them. And I'm sure we'll know when they're done, because we'll get an influx of misfits. Right now, we got 25 of us here. No. Yeah, that's right. We got 25. Kelsey's got 93 over there. So a lot of the crowd is the same. So how are you this morning? Let me get rid of this music. There it goes. And the days are getting shorter. Whoa, forgot the most important thing. Okay, Kelsey's done officially. Let's close that window, and so much going on. Not to forget the most important thing. Forget if you got it. I've been waiting for this. I've been up since 5, and I've had coffee yet. Been hydrating with my electrolyte mix. Such discipline. Such discipline. Here they come. Here they come. Let's let that caffeine spread to every cell of my body. So it's just starting to get late. I was just saying that the days are getting shorter as we, what are we, 10 days? Today's the 10th. The 20th and the 21st is the shortest day of the year. Winter solstice. And then they start getting longer again. Yay. But I used to be able to say live from sunny Melbourne, Florida, but we've yet to see how sunny it's going to be today. So we'll take a look at that. Yesterday was most of the day was a little overcast, and they're kind of forecasting cloudy today. But I say live from sunny Melbourne anyway, as a positive, happy thing to do. Got any questions or comments you'd like to talk about? QQQ in the chat. I did watch Kelsey this morning. Saw you all in the chat over there. It was an interesting show with, he didn't have a guest. And he just kind of winged it, answering a lot of questions. So if you're all questioned out, I won't get any. We'll see. We'll see. So let's see who's here. Let's see who's here. The earliest one I got, and I think they got rid of all the ones from yesterday for some reason, was Lady June at 1:15 in the morning, and Jem is here at 1:37. Hi, Jem. How are you? And of course, right around 4 o'clock, our early riser, Mike Seeley. From Tampa, Brian Dish chimed in. And at 6:30, John Beatty chimed in. I watched that episode of Landman too. It was great. It's a great show. Just a great show. And it's on, unfortunately, some kind of pay service. You're just not going to get it for free anywhere. Paramount Plus, but I'm glad I got it. I'm glad you guys recommended it to me. Otherwise, I probably wouldn't have known about it. Mike Silly Sr. from Melbourne chimed in, and John Beatty's here. Hi, John. Good morning. All he says. Barry Simon chimed in. Hiya, Barry. And Lori. Hiya, Lori. How are you, sweetie? Good to see you. Rick, finally somewhat cooler day. Yeah, it's 60 degrees up here. Not that it's brutally cold or anything, but 60 degrees. Lucy Work is here. And I see, this is interesting. We got 46 people. So we didn't get a whole lot of influx from kilts. He went out with 90-something people. So we didn't get a lot of people jumping right over. I don't think I have most of the same audience that Kilts has. I think most of his audience is not interested in me. I understand why, but that's okay. But I really don't think, I think the basic Mitch Fit crowd, maybe 20 of us, 25 of us, are kind of crossover, but the rest of them, I think they go off looking for something different than what I have to offer them. That's for sure. That's for sure. Peter. Peter asked a question, and I'll get to it in a minute. So let me finish welcoming people. Terry, how you doing, Terry? Yeah, Terry says, so you're going to be a speaker at a meetup coming soon. And I think so. I would absolutely say yes. If when I looked at Kiltsy's listing of the meetup in February in Tampa, at the speaker list, I was conspicuous by my absence. They had Diane Ladd, and they had Dr. Philip Ovadia, and they had Adam Lacey, and they listed Nelson and Kiltsy, and Mitch was nowhere to be found on that list. Even though I got an email from Alia a week ago or two that said, Dr. Kiltz wants you to be a speaker. So it shows me Ali is a little too busy. But yes, I'm not going to say anything about it. Well, maybe I don't know, it doesn't matter to me if my name is up in lights or not. So, but I was wondering how come Moi was left off the list. We'll see. We'll see. Marla Kelly, how you doing, Marla? Good to see you. And Peter's here with us. Hiya, Peter. Good morning, folks. Lady June back today. Don Schonger is here. And who was the first one at 7? It was Marla. Marla Kelly. Congratulations. You're the first one to hit the bell this morning. Glad to see it. Followed by Peter, June, Don Schonger, Lori, and how do you pronounce that? John Seafy? John Seafy? It is an O, isn't it? They all look like O's, E's. They all blend in. Good morning. Good morning to you. And Donna Ray is here, Bacon Runner. How you doing, Donna Ray? And Sandy Blythe, good morning. Good morning to you. And Peter's still warm here in South Florida. Yeah, got about 10 degrees on us. Brian Dish is here. Hiya, Brian. says, let's get started. .52 in South Florida. Florida's quite a big state. We can have 20, 30, sometimes even 40-degree differences very easily between the north and the south in Florida. Here we have Steve Rogers, Captain America, superhero in the house from Kansas City. And Rick chimed in, or quacked in from Miami. Rick was very, very prolific in the chat on Dr. Kiltz this morning. Who is this? Chris Swain from Australia. How you doing? Good to see you. And Bride's Biscuit, also very active in Kiltz's chat this morning. Saw you over there. Welcome. Good morning. Chris Swain says hi to me. Brandon McIntyre, how you do? Brenda. It's time for me to go get new glasses, folks. I can see clear without them. That's what's crazy. I need the glasses to bring my multiple images together because of astigmatism and prism correction. But as far as focus goes, if I take the glasses off, the letters are crystal clear. I have no trouble. But when I bring all the other stuff into play, it makes the letters a little blurry. Such is the fate of getting old, I guess. Yep, Terry says 11 more days until the shortest day of the year, and it'll be downhill and back to springtime. Yeah, it is. Seems to be going faster and faster every year, and they're getting shorter and shorter these years. I'm not the only one who recognizes or notices that. I think back to when I was a kid in elementary school. Each semester in elementary school seemed like 100 years. You wait for summer, it seems like it would never come. And as you get older, our perception of time just accelerates to where when you get to be my age, it just seems like New Year's Eve was yesterday, and here we are coming up to the next New Year's Eve. And it's kind of scary. Time, if you study physics, is very misunderstood. There are those that say there is no such thing, that basically everything happens at once and is constantly happening. It's weird stuff, these laws of physics. But there really is nothing that is as it seems in this universe. We think there's things that we call sound, and we think there's a thing that we call light, and we think that things look like they look because that's how we see them. But in reality, everything is only a bunch of tiny little particles bouncing around and photons, and any reality that there is the way our organic computers perceive it. And sometimes I wonder if maybe different people perceive things differently. And maybe that's why nobody can agree on anything. Anyway, it's just fascinating stuff. Fascinating. I've always been intrigued by the laws of physics. So yeah, the perception of time, and they've done a little bit of that in movies. Interstellar had that deal where when they went down to that planet, time passed so wildly different that every hour that they perceived that they spent on that planet and physically aged back at the ship, it wasn't on the planet. It was either weeks or months went by. And when they finally got back to the ship, the guy in the ship was like 40 or 50 years older, and they aged about 2 hours, 3 hours. So And that is a true law of physics. And we've demonstrated that in a very tiny way when we send astronauts to the space station. They age at a different rate than we do. It may only be milliseconds per hour different, but it is different nonetheless. And I think it's a function of gravity and other things. So that's the reality of it all. And what we experience is only what we perceive in our own little organic brains. Who is this? Maria Lusmart. Good morning. Good morning, Maria. Maria Lusmart says, do you put electrolytes in your coffee? No, Maria. I put electrolytes in this big thermos jug, and I mix it up every day. And I have my own electrolyte mix, and I have videos about that. And I sip on this all day long, and that's where I get my. I normally don't drink water. I usually just get all my hydration along with the electrolytes and spread it out over the course of the day. Seems to work good for me. So that's the answer to that question. Annette AP, how you doing, Annette? Good to see you. Good to see you, my friend. Always. Peter says he's gone shopping at Aldi's. Have fun. Have fun. Loretta Nadow's here. Hi, Loretta. And here's the question from Peter. Is it possible that a vegan or vegetarian, no meat diet can allow a human to achieve optimal or acceptable health? Well, Peter, that very same question was asked to Kilchie and Nelson this morning. Once again, Kilsey has his own take on that, and I have my own take on that. And there are a few things that, not to say we fight about or disagree about, but have different theories. And that's normal, because that's what theories are. Theories are unproven or unprovable things that you kind of postulate are actually what's going on. Kelsey said, of course, you don't need, he even said something I heard about the nutrients don't have to come from food. I think, and it's based on things I've heard from other people, that there are absolutely and definitely certain nutrients, especially amino acids and vitamins, that do not exist in the plant kingdom. Vitamin B12, for example. So I also believe that most, if not all, of our, quote, nutrients, except that we don't synthesize in our own body, that's a big qualifier, and those are called essential nutrients. Plants don't contain 100% of the essential nutrients. Now, vegans and vegetarians, how do they know? How do they know? I mean, think about this. How do you know? How do you know as a carnivore that you're not somehow, some plant material isn't getting snuck into your food unless you basically just eat nothing but whole food, unprocessed food, completely unprocessed. And most of us, even you get a pork rind, what they put in it. You get a hamburger patty, what they put in it. What do they marinate that chicken in? That they rotisserie at Sam's Club. So to be that pure as driven snow, vegan or vegetarian, we have seen these people get skinny, get mental issues, especially if you remember Karen Carpenter, anorexic. All these people, they just don't look too good. The vegans that claim they're vegans are probably sneaking a ribeye somewhere and not telling their fans or their audience about it. Just like so many carnivores really are eating a lot of carbs, but just don't tell anybody because their YouTube reputation and channel and income is more important to them. They're selling you a supplement and they want you to believe that that supplement is the source of their great health. Just don't be gullible. My opinion is, again, different than Kiltsy's. My opinion is no. It is not possible for a real, strict vegan or vegetarian that eats absolutely no animal-sourced product of any kind. Not ever. Not an egg, ever. No dairy products, ever. Nothing that didn't grow out of the ground. I think they cannot survive. Even most of the herbivores in the field still manage to consume some organic animal matter in some form, or they have the machinery and the gut microbiome to produce these things in a fermentation process that vegans and vegetarians do not have, not having a hind gut and 4 stomachs anymore. So, yeah, there's always, but nobody knows for sure. Nobody knows for sure, Peter. So let's leave it at that. We could talk about that all day. Here is Scott, the unretired carnivore. Good morning. Good morning. How you doing? Tori says she thinks the age demographic here is different than Kilts. Yeah, I would tend to agree because I'm an old fart and he's not quite as old fart as I am. And he's got Ollie and Nelson and yeah, he's got a lot more content aimed at younger people. Let me read this one. This is another important thing. And I should have mentioned this because it was on my mind. Terry answered Bride Biscuit's question or comment. My son's family is vegan. My granddaughter is 17 and healthy and has never eaten meat. Well, yeah, but has she ever had an egg? Has she ever had a glass of milk? It's almost impossible to avoid it, just like it's almost impossible for carnivores to avoid some plant-based material getting into their body. But they do supplement. Yes, they do. They supplement vitamin B, all that other stuff. And then you said, but carnivores are all about electrolyte supplementation. Well, there's a reason for that. But electrolytes are neither animal products or plant-based. Electrolytes are simply minerals that are either there or they're not, depending on the food source of the food source that you're eating. And the reason we supplement electrolytes is because of current modern day farming techniques. And that affects both animal and plant agriculture. So what happens is the electrolytes have to start in either the ocean or the soil. They're minerals. They come from the earth. They have to be there. They're not compounds in the sense. They're minerals. Magnesium. They're metals. When they combine with other things, they make salts. There's sodium, potassium, calcium. These things are electrolytes. They've normally existed in the land and the soil, in the rocks and in the earth itself since the beginning of time, until we humans came along and doing what we call raping the soil. Instead of letting these things be replenished through natural events, we start managing the land, much like we humans start trying to manage our own physiology. We decided to manage the lands. We decided what we need to kill, what we need to get rid of, and what we need to basically supplement in the form of fertilizers and all those things. And what we need to spray on this land to kill all the little buggers that we don't want eating our food before we get to it. And we ended up with all of this monocropping and soil that is completely devoid and raped of magnesium, sodium, and potassium. Well, that's where the cows got their magnesium, from eating the grass that grew out of this soil, so that the grass now needs electrolyte supplementation, and the animals that eat the grass don't have electrolytes in them, and the humans that eat the animals end up not getting the electrolytes because of human intervention in farming and the fact that pastures aren't natural and cows don't shit on the ground and roam around and replenish things, and nature can't take its course anymore. The topsoil becomes devoid of all electrolytes, but that has nothing to do with the vitamin supplements that are organic molecules, not just elements, that are basically manufactured by the animal itself. So don't confuse electrolyte supplementation or the supplementation of just a basic element, not really needed by the human body in any combined form, with amino acids, vitamins, which are humongously complex molecules that are only manufactured, some of them, what they call essential ones, manufactured in animal products. I hope you got that. I hope you got that. Wow. I am so far behind. Well, 20 minutes, not too bad. Ollie is fixing the listing, she said, LOL. So you're the man. Terry, I'm the man. I'm the man. I am the man. The rant man. Yes, sir. That's me. Thank you. I kind of figured that. I couldn't miss the opportunity to feign a little bit of disappointment and hurt. Sometimes you gotta learn, don't take me seriously all the time. I do live in the realm of sarcasm and show business sometimes. Yeah, a lot of chat today. Well, we're up to 78 people. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. I don't know about you, but I like this 7 o'clock thing much better. Much better. I don't have to sit around waiting for 9 o'clock. We had a nice little live stream last night for the members, channel members. We had Gary No Slow was in it in the panel with us, and Peter was at work. We had Greg, Smith was with us smoking a cigar on the road, and Rick, and we had Rick from Miami. So we were spread all over the country, had a nice little discussion, and I guess the attendance at it was okay, but it was a nice hour. It was a nice hour. Oh, BMAC, Brian, bought me some coffees. Wow, let me take a look at that. Brought you 5 coffees. I'm glad you're back at 7 a.m. Yeah, so am I, Brian. I like it. I like it. I'm an early riser anyway. So thank you so much. That's Brian. That's BMAT. Thank you. Thank you, my friends. And God, that's something I haven't done in a while. I haven't plugged my Buy Me a Coffee. No wonder I haven't. I'm running short of coffee. I think I'll plug it right now. I mean, I do like that trend. Everybody can use more coffee, and a show of appreciation or support is nice. So let me just put the link in the chat to it, in case you guys don't know what that link is. And I haven't done that in quite a while. And again, as may he rest in peace, my father used to say, Mitch, and the truest saying, I don't care what in life you have to deal with. He used to say, you don't ask, you don't get. And I've learned that is the truest thing. Not that people aren't generous, not that people don't want to help. It's just that it's not, and I'm the same way. There's many things I can do nice for the people I meet every day, but it doesn't cross your mind. You're busy going about your business. You don't ask, you don't get. It sounds selfish, but it's not. But it's not. So thank you so much. Thank you so much. And Mike Seeley also bought me 5 coffees. Wow. Love the 7 a.m. morning coffee. P.S. You still have an invitation list. Yeah, I know, Michael. I know. You know what we ought to do? We ought to make an impromptu meetup. Mike Seeley Sr. and me at the Brazilian Steakhouse here in Melbourne, and make a date and time, send it to Alia, and call it a meetup. We just call it a meetup. 2 old farts having lunch is a meetup. And see if anybody else crashes our party. That would be fun. That would be fun. Maybe Jerry Voitos or Peter or some of the other Floridians would. Maybe even Rick would find his way up here. That would be great. I think we'll do that. Yeah, I haven't forgotten you, Michael. I keep very few emails in my email box on the Old Guy Carnivore account. There's only 3 of them in there now that I have to deal with, and your email is still in the inbox. So I see it every time I actually go in and look for my emails. Jerry Voitis bought me a coffee. See, I'm right. All right, guys, you bought me these coffees. I won't publish those pictures that I have. I'll keep them. No, I'm kidding. No extortion. Just love and kindness. See, Kiltz doesn't have a monopoly on love in his channel because he talked a lot about love on the channel today. And I kind of like to hope there's a lot of love here too, because I love all you guys. You are the reason I keep doing this. I don't get much respect from YouTube, that's for sure. They keep figuring out ways to take things away from me. It's very oppressive. If you've been on YouTube and you get to any size, you find out that they always want to copyright strike you for this, demonetize you for that. It's worse than going to school with a stern headmaster. But I am the man, according to Ollie. That's great. I'm happy to see that. So let me see. Your view count may be down a bit. No, my view count is about the same, Peter, as it was at the view counts overall are down. Whereas I used to have generally between 120, 130 people every morning, either at 9 o'clock or 7 o'clock. Now I get 79, 80, 85. Very rarely get up to even 100. So people, I mean, I recognize which names are conspicuous by their absence. I'm not going to say anything because it's just the way it is. It's just the way it is. And we are not getting promoted to many new people. We are not getting pushed out. So most of us in this community are not seeing huge channel growth anymore. In fact, of course, I've been slack this month and haven't been making videos. So there's a reason for it. But I see Kilts has gone from 180 views at the end of his stream down to 90 something today. It's almost been, it's a little over half. But it is what it is. And we're still a community and we hang in here. And as long as we support each other, we have a reason to be here. At least we got a family. It may not be the biggest family, but it's still, as far as I'm concerned, one of the best families and communities to be in. It's a shame there are so many people and institutions and organizations whose entire living and livelihood and legacy is built on lies and other people's suffering. And that includes the entire medical community, the entire food industry, the entire pharmaceutical industry, and the entire industries of anybody else that makes their living in a support role. So, unfortunately, the guy who drives the semi with a trailer full of Cheez-Its on his way to Sam's Club, his living also depends on the misinformation continuing to be accepted. Because if you go into Sam's Club and you look at the just sheer volumes and truckloads and pallet loads of pure poison, and you were to eliminate all of that, how many truck drivers would it put out of business? How many warehouse workers would it put out? And in reality, I would say that directly or indirectly, at least half, if not more, of the entire United States economy is generated by this particular paradigm of what we consider food, its production, its distribution, and its consumption, and the resulting medical illnesses and diseases that it produces probably account for half of our economy. And believe me, all of those people are not going to roll over because they finally are told, well, eating plants isn't good for you. No. They won't stop. They will continue, like good little soldiers, to generate more and more propaganda and come up with more and more schemes to kill us, to get rid of us, because that's just human nature. It's a shame, but it's reality. And we face that reality, especially those of us that are trying to spread the message a little bit. We face that reality every day. I see Thomas chimed in. How you doing? Jack, you, Indiana, good morning, all you Mitch Fitz. That's somebody I don't know. Welcome. BBS Mitch has changed the show times many times. Yes, Peter, it's for my own well-being. I love you guys, but I don't think it matters all that much to you whether I come on at 7 or 9. I got to do what's best for my health right now, and I keep experimenting. So keep you guessing. Puts a little suspense. A little suspense in your life, but I like the 7. And I'm hoping to be able to get to a point where I'm going to ramp it up and maybe make it more days than just 3 a week. I may, because the Tuesday live stream for the members isn't that well attended. I may be overdoing it, but we'll see. We'll keep it going like this for the near term. I'm having lunch with my son today. Going to Sonny's barbecue, and eating meat. That's what we do. Generally, we order a pound or more of sliced brisket and ask for it to be fatty. Because nothing is worse than really dry, lean brisket. You want some fat. So they know us, and they usually bring us beautiful brisket. As far as the crap they season it with, that's just something you have to live with. And I don't think it makes all that much difference because I'm not that much of a purist. So there's a little bit of a rub on there, probably some garlic, which makes us plants. Doesn't matter. I eat it. Also, we get a bunch of smoked chicken wings, and they do make chicken wings that are just smoked at Sonny's, not deep fried in seed oil. But they have some seasoning on them too, not a sauce, but some kind of seasoning, and we eat those. And I haven't died from it yet. Once a week or once every 2 weeks when I have lunch with my son. So don't be too strict. Don't be too, I hate to use the word anal about it, but that's what it is. You're not a real carnivore, big house. Shut up. You just got to get those kind of people out of your life. This community of ours is full of those kind of people, but be more like Kiltsy. A little bit of this won't hurt. A little bit of that won't hurt. Believe me, it doesn't hurt. And if you don't believe me, go out there and just one day look. Like I said the other day, go into a Denny's and find the oldest people, the 90-something-year-olds that are in there, and ask them about their lifestyle. I guarantee you, they're not strict, militant Nazi carnivores. Most of them probably smoke a pack or two of cigarettes a day. They eat a lot of meat and fat because that's what they're doing in Denny's, eating bacon and eggs. But if you ask them if they ever have a milligram of this or a microgram of that, they're going to look at you like you're crazy. Don't be too picky about it. Nobody likes somebody that the word for it is Nazi, because that's what it is. Seeking this absolute perfection. Life's not like that. Break is here. And Rick says, winter is what never comes. Wow. That's very profound, Rick. But unfortunately, winter does come. Maybe in Miami, winter never comes. But I guarantee you, before this season is out, you're probably going to get a little taste of some Arctic vortex or something, because I know we do here. But you're true. So I'm looking for questions. Tammy's here. Hi, Tammy. How you doing? I've been following keto carnivore influencers much these days. Yeah, that's not unusual. I haven't either. If something grabs my attention, I'll click on it. I don't watch all the ones I used to watch because, as I keep saying, there's only so much you can say about this. It's so simple. And when you got something that's so simple, in order to continue to make compelling content, you have to find something other than the basic message to talk about. Wow. Jerry Voiter says, I see it here in the current chat. He just put it up there. Sonny Tillman, founder of Sonny's, passed away at 96 earlier this week. Think about the ramifications of that statement. Do you think Sonny Tillman ate a lot of meat and fat? But he probably also ate a lot of cornbread and sides and French fries and other things that they sell at Sonny's, which we don't eat. My son and I, when we go in there, we don't get any sides, any salad, any bread, any nothing. We eat meat with a side of meat. But good old Sonny Tillman, I guaranteed you, ate all that stuff, and he lived to be 96. So quit being so anal about it. And like I keep saying, the only reason I don't eat the carbohydrates is because they trigger my addiction. Again, something else my friend Kiltz and I disagree on. He's adamant about it. Adamant that there's no such thing as addiction. Okay. I'm not going to try to change his mind. He's already changed Nelson's mind because yesterday on the live stream, they both talked about it. But I know that if I eat some blueberries, I lose any conscious self-control I have. Period. No matter how strong I think my mind is. And I think my mind is pretty strong. Just that my subconscious takes it away from me. Says, blueberries? We need more of those. Well, time to shut off Mitch's conscious mind because that son of a bitch will stop us. So what we're going to do is we're going to flick this switch here and turn off his prefrontal cortex, and we're going to put him in instinctual jungle mode, and he's just going to react on reflex and instinct, like every other animal on the planet does, that does not have a conscious mind, because after all, Mitch is still the animal primarily controlled by his subconscious mind. And that's what addiction is. Now, maybe their definition of what addiction is different than mine. My definition is the withdrawal of conscious control by your subconscious when your physiology determines that there's something it has to have. Not for nutritional sake, but because of the perception of pleasure provided by the neurotransmitter release triggered by that thing I call addiction. But yes, who among us can say that hasn't happened to us, where we end up saying, what was I thinking? And regretting the fact that we just ate half of that birthday cake. But yet while we were eating it, we weren't even present. We were acting purely on instinct. That's what the fight or flight response is too. When so much severe danger is perceived by an animal, absolutely all conscious control is shut down so that you can act on reflex and instinct alone, which is where you are more likely to react quick enough. That's what tunnel vision is like. Most of us have experienced that in one way or another. You're alone at night and you hear a noise and you just freeze. You can't move. You're ready. You're at high alert, ready to react to something. You're not consciously thinking. you're not consciously thinking. This is very documented and normal. So I think that that's where addiction falls. All right, enough lecture. Enough lecturing. Oh, there's been a lot of chat here today. That's great. Tori says to Tammy, I've been watching more channels that are not food related. Yeah, I'm learning all kinds of things about cars, Chinese cars. Chinese electric cars. I don't know how I got started in that, but the Chinese are building some of the most fabulous electric vehicles in the world now. Man, these things are crazy gorgeous. And the prices are half of what they, in other words, for $50,000 in a Chinese electric SUV, you can buy a car equivalent to a $150,000 American SUV. It's crazy. Now, they keep putting all these videos out and they keep getting hundreds of thousands of views, but you'll never see them in this country, especially not at the Chinese prices. But yet they make these videos and they keep bragging about the fact that these things elevate cars to such a high standard and cost half as much in America. That's great if you live in China. But these things, I watch them, I'm fascinated by the beauty and the construction and the fit and finish and the materials used and the engineering. And anybody who thinks that China isn't so far ahead of us in these areas, has got their head in the sand. After all the really latest technology is coming out of China. How they got the start? Well, maybe they stole it from us a long time ago, but I'm telling you what, look at your cell phone. It's either made in Asia, in South Korea, or China. It's either Apple or Samsung. Maybe it's child labor or whole different financial thing, but it doesn't cost them as much to manufacture these things. Maybe they don't have as many lawyers in China ready to sue everybody and raise the prices of everything to cover their judgments. Whatever it is, our system is great, but it allows other countries to really get a leg up on us when it comes to competing. Bryce Business says, where are vegans getting adequate B12? They're not. They're simply not. They're one of their main ailments in vegetarians and vegans is B12 deficiency. And those things are easily verified by a blood test, just like vitamin D. There's one area where blood tests, I think, are useful. If you are living in areas where you might not be getting enough of it naturally, find out. Even electrolytes. Although a lot of times the amount being carried around in the blood can be misleading because it doesn't really tell you how much you got stored up in your body, only what the body happens to be using at that particular time. Same thing is true of insulin. You can have problems on diabetes ramping up and never know it from a blood sugar test because you still got enough insulin available to regulate your blood sugar. But what you don't know is you needed 5 times the amount that you did 2 years ago. But the result is the same until it blows up. Tommy says, Kilts has been putting out a lot of shorts, which for the life of me, I don't understand the point of them. There's no point. They're too short to make any sense. No, they're only, as far as I'm concerned, shorts. I don't like them. I don't agree with them. I don't like the TikTok style. But YouTube has to compete with these people. It gets them tons of views. People just I don't think they I think they say they stay there just absent-minded and blank as they scroll through these things. But everybody got short feeds now. So people are trying to take advantage of the fact that their face is going to pop up more. People are going to be reminded of their presence more. And the only really useful purpose of a short, as far as I'm concerned, is to promote a video that is related to it. Where when you're watching a short, you get an opportunity to click a link to actually watch the long form video. But other than that, I agree. But I don't have time to fool with that nonsense. I don't want to be that busy creating all those shorts. Artificial intelligence can create hundreds of them, and that's where most of them come from, AI generated. We have carnivores, some of the bigger channels that have money and can afford to hire those people sitting over there in India and elsewhere in the world that work cheap, that have the tools and can generate these things for them. And you cannot, no sole content provider like me can play that game. Has a time and energy for the zero return you get on it. But it does help attract, because YouTube does promote them. People who don't know who Kiltz is will see his face and name. They're not meant for you to really get any meaningful information out of. They're purely for promotional purposes. So everybody's talking about, and I think we've talked about it enough, vegans and getting the right amount of nutrition. I'll tell you one thing you do see, and of course, I don't know if you see it in the vegan community, but in the carnivore community, you see a lot of videos about somebody who said, I was a vegan for 30 years and almost died, and I became a carnivore, and now everything's great. Okay. I'm sure in the vegan community, they have the same video only, but the roles reversed. I was a carnivore for 30 years, and I never got good until I started eating spinach. I'm getting to the point where I can't believe anything I hear or see anymore. And even I can't believe the stuff I see with my own eyes and ears, because it's artificially generated propaganda by some computer. Now, society cannot continue to function and grow and prosper when nothing is honest. And we're getting to a point now where there's nothing is honest. And it's frustrating for me. I try to be happy, but it is scary. The potential downside and damage that can be done to gullible human beings by artificially generated propaganda that keeps getting better and better and better every year is just scary. And what's really scary is what happens when they start programming this kind of intelligence into killer robots. All the movies come true, and we have the Terminator. And that now is technically feasible. Back when they made those movies, it wasn't, but yet it is. Just like back when they made Star Trek, the idea of a little handheld device, Kirk to Enterprise, was science fiction. Yeah. Need I say more? How long before Neuralink, Elon Musk's little darling of having everything communicating directly with your brain, how long before everybody's got that? And then how long before everybody is required by law to have a chip implanted. How do we stop that? We couldn't stop them from mandating the vaxxers. Couldn't stop that. I'm glad I'm not 20. Problem is, most 20-year-olds are not thinking about real concerns like that. They're still busy thinking about getting laid. So, and even that they're not doing as much because, at any rate, I don't want to go negative today. I'm trying to be happy and positive. I'm looking. I gotta stop really reading all the chats. I am a half hour behind. It is 8 o'clock. I want to look for questions, make sure I didn't miss anybody. So let me hit F3 here and type Q and see what we got. Is it possible a vegan or vegetarian, no meat yet diet? Got that one. Tammy, why does my nose run when I eat? 90% carnivore, 3 years now, still blowing my nose with meals. Well, if it gives you any comfort, my nose occasionally runs too. Histamines, perhaps. I'm not that much of it. Maybe there might be an ear, nose, and throat doctor that can tell you the triggers, or you can just look it up on Google. Just type into Google, what triggers runny nose? And there might be a clue in there. My first thought are histamines, because what do we take when we get colds to stop the runny nose and cold symptoms, but an antihistamine? So if an antihistamine, if its job is to stop your nose from running, it may be histamines that are causing your nose to run. And yes, histamines are prevalent in meat. Now, that may be the correct answer that I came to just from logical association of words, or it may not be. But that would be my answer to that question. And it may have been brilliant. There's a Sonny Tillman, founder of Sonny's, passed away at 96 earlier this week. And maybe if he laid off the sides and the potatoes and the cornbread, maybe he'd still be alive. Mitch, do you ever eat a pickle or onion? Says Carnivore Fire Mom. Cassie, not anymore. I used to always cook with onions. I didn't eat them in salads or anything, but I used to always like to mix them up with eggs, fry them, do steak and onions, a stir fry kind of thing. But no, not since I started carnivore. I stopped eating onions. A lot of sugar in onions. I don't miss it. I don't use onion powder or anything like that. I still use a tiny bit of garlic on my chicken wings. But other than that, or chicken thighs, but no. And I gave up pickles. No reason to eat pickles. I like pickles, but I never went too far out of my way unless they were the real deli kosher dill pickles, which I can't find anywhere anyway. So there's the answer to that question. What about strictly Rant Man Short, says Barry Simon. I don't know, Barry. It's more work to put that stuff up there than any benefit I might get out of it. I'm not trying to find a way to spend more and more hours sitting at a computer. I'm trying to find more and more ways to get physically active and get away from this sedentary stuff. And every time I try to add something to this YouTube or do more videos, that's just exactly what I do. I spend more and more hours sitting on my ass, and that's not helping my stroke recovery. So for the time being, I kind of have to limit my YouTube activities to what I'm doing and try to spend the rest of my time actually living life until I really recover some more, or I have to give up the YouTube completely. And I don't want to do that because I love you guys and I don't want to miss you. But no, I do not want to get involved. I made one short. It was a test way back when, where I was showing off my Carnivore food pyramid T-shirt. Not even the one that I designed, the one that my son gave me. And that was it. It's still up there and it still gets views. I guess they have a purpose, but since my sole purpose in life is not to become Mr. Beast and make millions of dollars a year on YouTube, I'm just happy if it pays its own bills. That's all. Speaking of that, let me see if I have any more coffees to thank people for. Let's see. Let me just summarize the activity of the day. We have Mike Sealy, 5 coffees, and BMAT 5 coffees. Thank you so much. And Jerry Voitich bought me a coffee. Thank you so much. Thank you, guys. If I could do that every day, I wouldn't have to worry about it. I'd be just doing great here on YouTube because I don't need to make that much money. I do want to start making more videos, but a lot of the videos that I said last night on the members stream, a lot of the videos that I made, the actual standalone videos, required a lot of physical activity that I'm not, in other words, if I go for a walk, I go for a walk for exercise. I don't want to have to be doing it for show business. I want to go do the work. I don't want to have to be dragging the camera and worried about the sound, do all that stuff. If I'm cooking something, if I have to make a video out of it, it makes it 10 times harder, 10 times more activity. It makes it take 10 times longer, having to worry about lighting and camera angles and this and that. So being a YouTuber and recovering from a stroke are not very compatible activities. And I've been juggling this ever since I had the stroke. And the most important thing to me is not being the YouTube star. It's recovering. And I think you can probably understand that. And getting my strength back, which doesn't come quickly. And the one thing that's really slowing the whole mess down is the recovery of my balance. You never realize how important balance can be until it doesn't work like it's supposed to. And the risk of falling and hurting yourself becomes 100 times more than it used to be. Third girl, greed is the reason we're all messed up. Yes, well, greed is a self-preservation motivation. You know, the concept, let me pontificate for a minute. The concept of good and bad doesn't exist outside of the human experience. It's a construct. And who decided what behaviors qualify as bad? That's an arbitrary decision, usually made by somebody with an agenda of their own. Animals can only exhibit good behavior or bad behavior according to some arbitrary definitions that we humans have made. As far as the animals are concerned, they're all doing what they're supposed to do. And they don't give a shit whether we think it may be bad. We're the ones to make the difference. Is killing good or bad? It depends, say us humans. That's because we humans are the only animals that have a reason to kill other than the fact that we need to eat. So we don't consider a lion bad because it kills its prey, but we consider a human being bad and put him in jail and want to execute him for killing another human being. But wait, depends. Was it in self-defense? Was he a soldier in war? He dropped a bomb. He may have killed 100,000 people. Has he done a good thing or a bad thing? Again, according to whom? We are screwed up animals is what we are. And we're paying the price for it. Reality is the way the animals live. And they cannot do anything bad or good. They just do what's necessary to make sure that they're going to be descendants at some time in the future to perpetuate the species. And that is nature and the meaning of life. Meanwhile, we humans are busy searching for which designer of women's handbags brings more meaning of life goodness than which other designer of women's handbag. We are so screwed up and divorced from anything that's really important. Really important. I see this every day in everything I watch. It just makes me cynical, and I don't like that. I would rather get joy out of everything in life. But as long as I'm involved in YouTube and I have to continue to watch YouTube, I'm going to continue to be annoyed by the ignorance of the average human being and the lack of perspective or even ability to observe the true meaning of what they're actually looking at. When you watch the news and you look at the conflicts, we have to divide it into good and bad. We have to pick sides. We have to root for one team or the other. And that means we have to buy into somebody else's idea of who the good guy is and who the bad guy is. And we see the results of their propaganda trying to influence our decision to go along with them and be on their team or be on the other team. We don't understand why the people in the Middle East want to kill us. Well, put yourself in their shoes and imagine how they felt when the American soldiers killed their family. You know, everything is perspective and point of view. Who's really right? Who's really wrong? But we've all got these causes. Our cause, thankfully, is to try to be healthy and take care of ourselves so we don't suffer. Amen. That's the my quick summary of the meaning of life in general. Any more questions? Let's see. Questions. Sonny Tillman, there we are. And Mitchy Pickle and Shorts. Is it possible that vegans? No, got that one. What does my nose run? Got that one. Sonny Tillman. Okay, got all the QQQs that I could find in the chat. It is 8:15. Had enough of this goodness for this morning. I'm sure you had enough of me. So I will see you tomorrow evening in the channel members live stream at 7 p.m. on Thursday. That's one of the things that's still at the same time it started at. And I'll play a little happy music for you so that you can say goodbye to your friends in the chat. Hey, great chat today. Good to see you guys talking. I didn't get a chance to read it, but I'll watch the replay and read the entire thing. I still have a few sips of coffee left. Like silly, have a good day, all you too, my friend in Melbourne. Michael Pregler. Hi, Michael. I didn't say hi to you yet today. Good to see you. Lori is singing and dancing. Have a good day, Lori. She says, thank you, Mitch. Boston Danny says, happy day all. Rick says, see you tomorrow. See you tomorrow night. Everybody has a great day. I'm looking forward to my lunch with my son. I'll let you know how it went. Hopefully, unlike Thanksgiving, we won't have to cancel it for some reason. Bitman is the name I don't recognize. Says bye. Have a fantastic day, everyone. Peter says bye all. Loretta. Hi, Loretta. How are you? Didn't say hi to you. Have a good day. Mundus. Volt Decepti. Latin. See you later. Boston Danny says, have a great time, Mitch. I will. Thank you, Danny. And with that being said, and the music ending, I will tell you to take the rest of the day off and eat meat.